Sync point. All right, I think we live. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Chase the Game. It's your boy C Plum. We're here today discussing nothing else but the NCAA tournament. For a great first weekend of games, not as many upsets as we've traditionally seen. Definitely, guys, give it a day all. As we have seen, at least in this tournament, the transfer portal has been the killer of the Cinderella teams. I know you've seen a lot of sports pundits go ahead and talk about it, how a lot of these mid-major stars are now on these SEC, ACC, Big East teams that are presumably in the Elite Sweet 16, moving on to the Elite Eight and eventually the Final Four. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that, definitely it is some truth to the matter. I mean, if you're taking the best players from the mid-major schools, how are you ever going to get another George Mason, another FAU, another Chicago Loyola? It's really not going to happen unless, you're getting guys that are buying into systems, buying into programs, and just happen to get lucky. Because one good year on that team, and these guys are headed out. So, I mean, with that being said, I'm optimistic as a former mid-major player. I'm optimistic that these guys are going to be able to get it together. But it is sad to see where the game has moved to and the transition of the pay to play. I mean, again, very happy for the athlete, ecstatic for the athlete. I think that they deserve every dollar that they're getting. But as far as it goes for the quality of basketball across the nation, we're going to see, I guess, a precipitous dip. But that's neither here nor there. Let's jump into this weekend's matchups. All right. Should have had this pulled up already, but, who can't do it all. You can't do it all. All righty. So let's get here. Let's get to our scores. Okay, so today we got BYU, Alabama, Maryland, Florida, Arizona, Duke, Arkansas, Texas Tech. One thing I'm going to say about them Arkansas boys and about John, he's going to have his team prepared to play in March. If there's nothing else he's going to do, these boys are going to be prepared to play. Coming out against Texas Tech, I haven't really seen a lot of them this year. Not even going to sit here and lie to y'all. So I expect that to be a goodie. Texas Tech is a 3 seed, Arkansas a 10 seed. Call me crazy. Texas Tech is a 5.5-point favorite. Give me Arkansas. Then we run to Arizona Duke. Now, should have been at this game. Not going to be upset about that. We'll figure that out, down the road. But Arizona Duke, I truly believe this is going to be a great game. Not only are the Dukies poised to make a run, I think Arizona just kind of doesn't care that Duke is there. I remember back when Kai was at Duke, and they actually lost to Arizona. I believe that was in the Elite Eight. They weren't as highly touted that year. Kai only played X amount of games, and, we know the story after that. But it has history. Their game has history, and I think both teams are going to come out and play. Give me another upset, Arizona over Duke. Next game, Maryland, Florida. Now, Derek, I call him Derek. I don't know why. Derek Queen is a monster. Top 5 pick in this year's draft. If you're not drafting him, I don't really know what you're missing. Like one pundit said, if he was white and European, he'd be the number 1 pick in the draft. Hands down, no question. So I really like them boys, but Florida's Florida. Should have picked him as my natty. Threw St. John's in there just in the hopes of some New York City nostalgia. But I think Florida is going to make that natty run. So I got Florida knocking off Maryland. And then BYU, Alabama. I think this is going to be the most intriguing game of the day. BYU is an up-and-coming program. Alabama as well throughout the past couple of years. BYU signing the number 1 high schooler in the nation, A.J. DeBansa, and building a program. They have currently Igor Denham. I think he should be probably a top 10, top 15 pick, 6'9" point guard, Euro guy. And then Alabama with Mark Sears and company. We know what they're about. We know what they do. They're SEC battle-tested. So I'm not really sure what is going to happen with this one. But what I will say is that if BYU is able to push this to the Elite Eight market, they're going to start next season as a top 5 team in the country. Easy. With the additions that they're going to be adding and a finish like this year with some returners, they'll be top 5 guys easily. So Those are Thursday's games. Now let's take a look at Fridays. So Friday we got Ole Miss, Michigan State, Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, Auburn, Purdue, and Houston. All right. Now for these games, I don't really like any of them, to be honest. I think these are all going to be iffy games, to say the least. And the Ole Miss Michigan State matchup, gotta go State. I just think these guys we know what he does when it comes down to the tourney. Kentucky, Tennessee, give me Kentucky. Give me Kentucky. I like what Mark Pope is doing over there. First year guy, bringing that BYU blood, getting these boys rolling. So give me Kentucky. Next, Michigan, Auburn. Call me crazy. These Michigan boys have made a run since that Big Ten tourney, and I don't think they're stopping now. So another number one gets knocked off. Michigan over Auburn. Call it, marked it here. And then Purdue, Houston. I really didn't like Purdue's last game. I forget who they were playing. But the point guard, Braden Smith, supposed to be first team All-American, did not look, like he was. I think he had 6 turnovers, something like that. That happened today against Houston. These guys are going packing. Don't expect it to happen, but I expect them to go packing. So we got Houston with the win there. So with that being said, I would like to take a look at exactly what is going to be for the national championship. My bracket's already destroyed. I don't even know why I'm sitting here even talking about the tournament. Let me tell you this. I had St. John's to begin with, and it is not only heartbreaking, but disgusting in the fashion in which they lost to Arkansas. I mean, just being outplayed, out-hustled, dominated, and embarrassed, to be quite frank. If Arkansas makes a run, you have revisionist history. It's like, they shouldn't have been a 10. They just were a 10 due to playing the tough SEC, blah, blah, blah. But for me, now, where do the Johnnies actually go from here? You know what I mean? I'm not really sure in regards to that. But we'll see. I mean, again, these boys have Patino coming back, have a nice little crew, have some young boys that'll be there doing their thing. So we'll definitely get some good stuff from them. Now, another team that I was shocked at, and I guess interested in, I'm sitting here looking at this UConn Hurley story, is for Dan Hurley. Now, looking back at the top of the year, he had the option to either go to LA or stay with UConn. Inevitably, we know what he chose. Not inevitably, eventually we know what he chose. He chose to stay with UConn. Now, looking at the season that both the Huskies and the Lakers have had, do you think in his heart of hearts he's happy with the outcome of this season? Do you think he would have rather have gone out as a 2-time Natty champ, moved to the NBA, and we see what kind of success the Lakers are having? What if they were able to duplicate that success with Dan at the helm? Would that have been a better outcome? For him, is it more about being a legend in Storrs, Connecticut, or is it about becoming the greatest coach that he could possibly be? For me, if it's answers in my hands, I think he made the right decision. The NBA game is a little too fickle for me. And truthfully, you don't know how the players would have reacted to him if they would have reacted the same way that they're reacting to JJ. It's just not something that you would have been able to know. So with that, I think Dan made the right decision, but it's sad to see UConn get knocked out the way they did. And them boys was balling. It was Florida, right? Yeah, they gave Florida a hell of a game. So, shout out to them guys, and I think they're going to come back better than ever next year. So we got the games coming up tonight. I just wanted to get a little quick, I don't even know if you call this a pod, call it a blurb, call it whatever you want. I just wanted to get some FaceTime and let y'all know how I'm feeling about this weekend's games. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back with you. Another episode of Chase the Game.